we coach them. That's what we get paid to do, to take them where maybe they don't want to go and push them. And everybody's at different levels, and I think that's the art of coaching, is being able to connect with a guy where he is. And you don't necessarily coach a senior the same as a freshman. But I think that's the art of coaching, is being able to motivate that great player, just like that guy who's just getting here and is excited to go to his first practice. So really not a problem with either one of those guys. Those guys are really driven to be great, and it's my job to help them reach their potential. So just making sure that I hold everybody accountable to the little things, how we practice, how we prepare, things off the field, and there's an edge in everything that we do. There's no complacency. It doesn't matter if you're Deshaun Watson or Wayne Gallman or whoever. We're going to push every single one of them to be the best that they can be. But the best part is when those great players are self-driven and self-motivated, and are going to always, whatever you ask them to do, they're going to always go above and beyond. And that's the type of guys. That's the type of guy that Gallman is. That's the type of guy Leggett has become. And so both of them going to graduate in December. And I promise you, they are focused on having their best season this year.
Are there any position groups in the depth chart that you're particularly curious or interested to see how they play out, going in with an open mind?
I'm anxious to see our tight end spot. I'm anxious to see how the backup tight end position. I think we got some good play. We got some guys that have really developed there. Milan is right almost 260. He looks like a different human being when he got here. He's gotten more physical and tough. Cannon looks great. He's coming off a shoulder. He's going to be a little limited. He's 263, 4 pounds. Leggett's 260. DJ Greenlee, I'm telling you, has the light has come on for that kid. He has worked. He was 250-something pounds. You're talking about a guy that came here about 215. I was really proud of him. Garrett Williams was 250. He got here about 226 when he showed up. I mean, it's good to see. I mean, we got a bunch of guys at that position that have worked extremely hard, and I think the competition there is going to be very, very good. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to emerge out of that group, and then probably the secondary, how that's going to shake out. I think we got good players. We got a good mixture of youth and talent to go with some veteran, experienced guys that have been around here that I think are hungry. Like Marcus Edmond, he's been around here. He's a veteran guy, but he hasn't been the guy. And he's chomping at the bit, and he's hungry like a freshman. And I love that in him, and he's smart. He knows what he's doing. So he's got a maturity to him. And then you throw in a Mark Fields, who is a totally different person than he was this time last year. So I'm excited about that, to go with Ryan Carter, who's a very good player, and Cordray, and then those young guys, and then what we got at safety. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun with those guys on the back end.
Is there a different energy level with your players as they reported, weighed in, just all the stuff they've been through a year ago, all the success? Was there a different energy as they showed up for 2000?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to measure that. I don't have an energy meter in the weight room when they report, but I mean, I know this. We were jacked up to go play last year. We were excited when we started, and those guys did a great job. That team did an excellent job. I will say this about this team, and I said this a few times. They've had a sense of urgency from day one that has not changed. It has not changed in anything that we've done. I've never had to say, hey, let's go. When I've walked in the meetings, they're ready. When I've had a senior meeting, they're there early. Whenever we've needed something handled within the team, they take care of it. They've had a sense of urgency all summer. Our 5:30 a.m. team workouts on Friday mornings in the summer, the guys grinded, and the leadership's been excellent. So, they've had maybe a little different edge to them. And early on, I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but then I just think that this is a group that's got a different experience to draw upon. that other teams haven't had. And I think that is certainly a part of them having maybe a deeper, more clearer understanding of the big picture of what it takes. And the fact that they know they're good enough. They know, and they are completely bought into what we do and how we do it.
The new rules change with only being able to hit 1 day a week at practice. Does that affect you at all?
I don't think any of that stuff is taking place right now. They're talking about some of that stuff going on, but for us, the way we practice, it's really all the things that they're proposing and maybe talking about doing. We've been doing for a while. We go in pads on Tuesdays, and Wednesdays we're in shells, and that's the way we've done it for years. We're in shorts on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And once we get into the season, we do very little live work. Everything's pretty much thud. We try to stay on our feet. Camp, we'll mix in a good bit of live and things like that. I think the biggest change, if all that stuff goes through, would be bowl prep. That would be a big adjustment for how we prepare our team for a bowl game. And I think something that they got to look at, because it's not the same for everybody. Some teams are off 30 days. Some teams are off 10. So that's the one piece of that I think would cause us a major adjustment. The rest of it, I think we are in line with, to be honest with you, and have been for a while. And I think that's one of the reasons we've been successful.
You were just talking about the youth in the secondary. Coach Venables told me a couple weeks ago that Trayvon Mullen plays a lot stronger than he looks. Has that been your assessment and what you've seen and heard?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen him on the field yet. I know he's changed since he got here. I think he's put on like 10 pounds since he got here. He was about 180 something yesterday, and when he got here, he was 170 something. I think he's a solid 10 pounds. So he looks better, looks a little more physically ready than when he first got here, and certainly what he looked like this spring. But as far as assessing him on the field, I don't know, but we'll see.
You mentioned having a different coaching approach to seniors versus teams heading into fall camp. Goals for everyone?
Yeah, just be committed to being the best you can be. Change. It's no different. Our goals are the same from a program standpoint. That's one of the things that we try to do and do last night. I try to articulate the vision of the program very clearly each and every year. I think we start over each and every year because there's a lot of new people. I don't take it for granted that everybody just knows. I don't assume. I make sure that everybody is on the same page. And we spent 2 hours last night really just reinstalling the program, what we do, what we're all about, our core values, why we do it that way. And creating the buy-in. That's where it starts. I mean, young people that you just can't tell them what to do anymore. You got to tell them why and how it helps them. And so that's what we try to do. But our core values are the same as they were in 2009. They're not any different. For us, it's about graduating our players and equipping them with tools for life to be successful, making sure they have a great experience, and trying to win a championship. And then from a team standpoint, it's win the opener, win the division, win the state championship, win the ACC championship, and then we had to change it this year. It's the only change we've had was we changed it to win the closer, because when we wrote those goals in 2009, it was win the bowl game. And I always said if we hit all 5 of those goals in 1 year, we're going to win the national championship. And, they changed the rules on me midstream there. Because we hit all 5 of them last year, but then I had to go play another one. So, so we just changed the win the bowl game. Now it's just win the closer, and whatever that last one is. So, it's pretty simple for us. We have our Clemson commandments that we kind of live by around here, and our program is built on being all in, being committed to being the best you can be in everything you do on and off the field. So that's the theme. And if everybody will live by that, we'll be just fine.
Dabo, player discipline got a lot of attention this summer in terms of off-season troubles and how coaches handle suspensions, things like that. As you've developed as a head coach, how have you molded your stance on, whether it be out of season or in season, how you approach suspensions, all that?
Well, I think first of all, for us and the culture of our program, our guys know there's consequences for your actions, good and bad. If you're doing the right things, there's good consequences that come with that. If you're doing the wrong things, there's negative consequences that come with that. And it's really not anything different than raising your kids, raising your family. You're going to have some young people that will disappoint you from time to time. Grown-up people will disappoint you from time to time. But I think at the end of the day, it's how you respond to those things. That's what separates companies, programs, churches, banks, whatever. And, all I can tell you is I think it's to each his own. I don't necessarily think there's just one way to parent. I just think you got to do what you believe in and be consistent. And for us, our guys, it's a no-nonsense approach. I'm not here to entitle guys. I'm here to empower them. And, I think to have a culture, you have to have discipline within that culture. And you can't waver from that. And we've tried to build a culture here of doing what's right, no matter what. And we've not varied from that. And if we make a mistake, we own it, we learn from it, we move on. And but from a player discipline standpoint, it's all about what the deal is. What's the situation? What happened? You try to find out and assess the situation, and then you make a decision that is fair and right based on what you believe in the culture of your program. So. Again, I don't sit around and judge other people and what they do. I don't worry about all that. I'm just worried about Clemson and what we do here. And, I'm proud of our guys because we certainly don't have a perfect 120 guys, but our guys have done a great job. And I think there's an old saying that rules without relationship leads to rebellion. And I think the thing that we have in place here is we have great relationships. This is a relationship-driven program. And if you have good relationships, then you can have the discipline that you need to have in place. So for us, I just try to do what I think's right based on what I know. Sometimes you might have a guy have a problem. He's never been in trouble ever a day in his life. And you have a situation over here, but it's about the 10th issue or, little thing that's piled up. And so he's, got no money in the bank. He's writing bad checks. Well, that's a problem. So I just think it's to each his own, and at each situation you have to assess it and, again, do what's right.
Particularly with off-season issues, you've sat down Sammy a few years back, and then you sat down some guys for the Georgia game 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you or the staff, you notice when in Auburn and other schools they've had the issues, and then they don't suspend guys for opening games?
I'm not worried about it. Again, I'm not. Everybody's got to run their program and make decisions. I'm not in the loop on what all other people have going on and how they make those decisions and don't want to be. That's not my job. My job is to do what I think's best for Clemson and this team, and that's what I do. So, what somebody else does, I don't focus on that. It doesn't impact me one bit in how I make decisions here.
Coach, you may have answered this with a sense of urgency answer over here, but I wonder, getting so close to that dream and seeing the reaction of those young men in the locker room and throughout this all season, what from your perspective has been the greatest impact of losing in terms of their desire to win?
I just think that I think just validation in who we are as a program and what we've done over the last 7 years. The type of program that we have, I feel like our brand won big throughout last year. So, I think those are all positives. But, at the end of the day, had we won the game, I promise you we'd be starting over, coaching with the same sense of urgency. That's just what I believe in, And, last year has nothing to do with this year. Absolutely nothing. You win 14, you win 6. It ain't got nothing to do with September 3rd. Nothing. We got blown out, gave up 70 points in a Orange Bowl one year, and that's all I heard all spring long. And it's like I told our team, that ain't got nothing to do with this game. You know, and just like had we won that game, it has nothing to do with this game. It's you start over. It's new people. And we had 9 guys drafted that aren't here anymore that had a big part in what we accomplished last year. But I think the biggest thing from last year's journey is just the experience. You know, I've said many times, it's one thing to dream about something. It's another thing to experience it. It's one thing to think you're good enough. It's another thing to know you are. And so I think just maybe a clearer picture in our players' mind of what it takes, and just confidence.
Coach, we know you're not on Twitter and Facebook, but the rule that lifted that allowed coaches to retweet and interact, you think that's going to change the game much?
I have no idea. I'm probably the wrong one to ask that question. I think it's like you can retweet certain things, but you can't like something. Like you can if somebody puts something out, you can retweet it like it is, and you're within the rules. You know, I came up with a rule because I think but if you add on to that, so kind of like if you type it, you hype it, right? So if you hype it, it's wrong. If you just, tweet it or whatever, you're okay. You know, so I don't know. I don't get into all that stuff. That's just what a crazy world.
Jeff Scott tomorrow.
Yeah, Jeff can tell you all about that.
What is it going to take to get you on there?
I have no idea. I don't see it happening. I don't see it. I mean, why do I need to be on there? I don't understand that. I really don't. I don't know why people care about what I ate for dinner or where I'm at today. You know, I don't need followers. It's crazy. You know, I can't remember where I was talking. I was talking about my new experiment is I'm going to apply the social media principles to real life, you know, and I've already started. You know, it's a great project. You know, I've literally walked down the street and I just stop random people and I show them pictures of what I had for breakfast, and I show them pictures of my wife and my dog and my kid. I show them pictures of me sitting at the beach, swimming in the pool, and then I ask them if I can see their pictures. And sometimes I give them my opinion on things, whether they want it or not. So I'm up to 4 followers, 2 social workers, a police officer, and a psychiatrist. So it's my social media experiment. Nah, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know there's like it's great for Clemson football to be able to promote our brand and to communicate and connect with recruits and things like that. But for me personally, I mean, it's just one more layer of stuff. I mean, you know, I still like to talk to people. That just seems like a lost art. I will text people. I email. I'll write. I don't have time for all that. It's just unbelievable, and I don't really know why people care. I don't need that validation every day to feel like my life matters or something. I don't know. It makes no sense to me, but it is what it is, and then it's again, there's some positives in it, but it's like the young people. Nobody gets mad at each other anymore and like goes and says, "Hey man, what's the deal?" They just go online and you know, chew each other out in front of the whole world. It's a interesting phenomenon, but I don't know. Maybe one day. I'll never say never, but I'm not on it.
Gotta let him go to
So,
gotta let him get to practice.
If